What's going on, everybody? This is Living in Arizona Now, and today we're going to be doing a Flagstaff day trip. This is a continuation of North Central Arizona tours that we've been doing. For those of you who saw our Verde Valley and Sedona video, you know that we were going up to Flagstaff. We've finally arrived. We're 3 days into our road trip. Let's get into it. Located about 2 hours and 20 minutes north of Phoenix, it is sitting at around 7,000 feet elevation. This is the highest part in all of Arizona, where the San Francisco peaks are, including Mount Humphrey. This area here is known as Lake Mary. This is just to the south of Flagstaff. You can see right up here, we get lots of pine trees. This is not what people expect when they think about Arizona, but believe me, we've got lots of ponderosa pines up here all across this area in northern Arizona. In this one, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be exploring the surrounding areas first. We're headed over towards Walnut Canyon. For those of you who love camping, they do have 14-day limit on the camping. I would say September is perfect up here. You get nice, mild days, a little bit brisk in the evening, so you would want to pack some warm clothes in a sleeping bag. But really fun camping out here in the ponderosa pines up in Flagstaff. It's 7,000 feet elevation. The stars are beautiful at night, and the sun and fresh air just makes everything so peaceful, and it really recharges your soul coming up here and getting some time out in nature outside of those big cities that we got down in Phoenix Metro. This area we're at right now is called Picture Canyon. It's just outside of Flagstaff. There's so many cool areas outside of Flagstaff, you'd be surprised, but this here Picture Canyon Natural and Cultural Preserve, it's 478 acres. You can do hiking, biking, horseback riding, lots of wildlife, and Native Americans were living here, so you're gonna see some remnants of that like petroglyphs. Good news is dogs are allowed. And the real treat in this area is Walnut Canyon National Monument. I'm a veteran, so I have the veteran card that allows me to get in for free to any of the national parks. If you're a veteran also, please take advantage of that. If not, you can also get in here with a national park pass. You can purchase that for $80 US. It says America the Beautiful right on there, and you can go to all the national parks across the United States, including national forests and wildlife refuges. Here in Arizona, we have a few national parks, as you know, Grand Canyon being one of them. So that's a great value, but includes the National Monument here at Walnut Canyon. And this place is spectacular, great for hiking, especially in the autumn. You go into this canyon and you see all of the cliff dwellings. The Native Americans were living out here. Really a beautiful history and a beautiful area. If you don't want the annual park pass, you can actually get in here for $25 US, and that covers a pass and up to 15 passengers in a single vehicle. Just a heads up, there's over 30 different national parks, forests, and refuges inside of Arizona. So if you're an Arizona explorer, you can see that park pass has its weight in gold. Walnut Canyon is an area where around 1,100 to 1,250 Sinagwin people used to live. They built their homes under these limestone cliffs, and the park preserves this landscape. There really is quite a few Native American sites out here, including the Eldon Pueblo Heritage Site. If you love to study and explore the Native American history like we do, just so we understand about what Arizona really is at its core, come on out here to all these different sites. We're going to show you a few other areas. We're going to go up to San Francisco Peak as well and show you what's going on up there where the Snowbowl is. There wasn't any snow, but lots to see in this video coming up soon. Actually, what we're doing now is we're headed over to Sunset Crater. A couple months ago, we made a video talking about the volcanoes in Arizona. Some people say they've seen some of the volcanoes puffing, which means they saw them releasing gas. We haven't seen that directly, but this is one of those areas in this volcanic lava field here. Quite amazing. It's almost otherworldly, really. I don't know if you've ever been out on a lava field, but coming out here to Sunset Crater really is incredible. The Native American Sinagwin people were out here when these volcanoes were active. Now, this is part of the national park system here in Arizona, so if you have that annual pass, it's included, but if not, it is $25 per vehicle to get inside here. As far as the lava field, it is considered active as there are around 600 volcanoes, although none of them are currently fuming. The individual volcanoes themselves are mostly dormant, and future eruptions are possible, but there is no seismic activity indicating they are going to erupt. They say the last eruption happened around 1,000 years ago, around 1085 AD. Some of these cinder cone volcanoes you can actually drive to the top of and get nice lookout points or vistas. And if you look to the north, that's the Painted Desert. The Painted Desert is known as a very colorful desert, not too much vegetation. If you go a little bit down the road a bit, you will see the Petrified Forest National Monument. So again, lots of national parks in this area. It's almost like a UNESCO World Heritage Site really up here. Although not officially designated by UNESCO, as Arizona only has one UNESCO site, which is a complete and total surprise. That one would be the Grand Canyon. We'll be making a video of that next. From Sunset Crater, we're actually headed up the road a bit. This is what I consider to be Arizona's Machu Picchu. It's quite an impressive site. This is Wupatki. There's a couple different sites here. They have blowholes coming out of the ground. This was a sacred site. You'll notice it sits at the base of tributaries. They kind of converge and come together here. And this area right here was a very sacred site to the Native Americans at the base of San Francisco Peaks on the north side. The main pueblo was built around 500 AD, so you can see this actually fits in between the timeline of the Sunset Crater's activity. So they were alive in this area when there was volcanic activity going on. It became a thriving trade center after the eruption of Sunset Crater around 1085, and there was ash that made the soil very fertile for farming, which made it easier to live in this area. It was the ancestral home of the people known as the Kohina, the Kayenta Anasazi, and the Sinagua cultures. They say around here the buildings would have had, they say around here the structures would have been up to 100 rooms, a large ball court, they had games going on, and a large community gathering space. So now we've explored all the way, so now that we've explored all around Sunset Crater, Walnut Canyon, Wupatki, and many Native American sites, what we're going to do now is actually head over to Lockett Meadow here. This is in the Coconino National Forest, located on the northern flank of San Francisco Peaks, and it's known for 17 campground sites amidst the aspen trees. And this is near the Inner Basin Trail, and you can see the leaf peeper's paradise. In mid-October, this is when the aspen trees turn golden. So it's a 3-mile loop that you can take around mid-October, and you can see those famous aspen trees. So by this time, you've probably worked up an appetite and you're thinking about what to eat. Maybe you're in the mood for a burger or a salad. Who knows what you like to eat, but this is a good place to get a burger for lunch after you've explored all of Walnut Canyon and everything. And Downtown Flagstaff is known for its breweries. Keep in mind, this is where Northern Arizona University is, NAU Lumberjacks. And we're going up to Lowell Observatory. So I already talked about how the stars are amazing up here, and many, many moons ago, they knew it. The observatory people, the people who study astronomy and all that stuff, and they built this world-famous observatory here on the slopes of San Francisco Peaks. This is Lowell Observatory, and it's part of the International Dark Sky City. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you haven't seen the stars in Arizona in the evening time around 9 p.m., I would say, you're missing out, because up here, some really great stargazing can be had up here. And what we're actually going to do is head up to the top of San Francisco Peak towards Snowbowl. Now, keep in mind, this is where they have the gondola rides, even if there is not snow up here, because this is where people do snowboarding and skiing when there's actually snowpack, which is going to be coming around December, January, February. It almost always comes every year. Every once in a while we get light snowpack, but we get enough snow up here for people to have some fun, come up from the valley and really hit the slopes. And Snowbowl is probably our best snow resort, I would say, for skiing and snowboarding. The other one is in Sunrise, that's in the White Mountains. But Snowbowl here, we're going up there. You can see we're climbing up an elevation upwards of over 12,000 feet. Well, let me clarify some facts. The peak is 12,000 feet, but the base of the actual Snowbowl is around 9,200 feet, and it takes you up as high as 11,500 feet. So just wanted to clarify all of those facts. It is about 777 skiable acres, including 61 runs, 8 lifts, and a 2,800-foot vertical rise. Now, obviously, there's no snow up here right now in September. The snow will probably arrive around December, January, February, into March. We've even seen it in April. It just depends on Mother Nature, but it is a recreation area, and there's stuff going on up here all year long. I mean, you're way up here above the clouds. We're not quite above the timberline, but it's quite high up here, and you can see there's plenty of action up here right now. On this day, the gondola was closed, but there are a lot of options for entertainment. Cornhole, chess, frisbee, golf, mini golf, climbing some towers, bungee jumping. Lots of outdoor activities for the family hanging out here on a Saturday. The Flag 5 was playing live on this day, and if you wanted to ride the chairlift, it's $80 per person. Now, it's kind of funny. Why do they call it San Francisco Peaks? Well, it's named after San Francis of Assisi. But there was always a saying, I know when I was a kid, my dad used to say, they call it San Francisco Peaks because on a clear day, you can see the lights of San Francisco from far away. Well, as you know, there's the Sierra Nevadas in between Flagstaff and San Francisco, so that's probably not likely, but it gets its name after San Francis of Assisi. And as you would imagine, this here, San Francisco Peaks, is the largest stratovolcano in the San Francisco volcanic field of Arizona. So you're up here on a massive volcano formed by eruptions many millions of years ago. The original volcano, San Francisco Mountain, was even taller than this, but it had a massive landslide that possibly resembled the lateral blast of what happened in Mount St. Helens. So, whoa. What happens if San Francisco Peaks blow? That would be crazy, right? You know about Mount St. Helens back in the 80s. And you can see we're at a lava river cave. So if you guys wanted to check this out, this is down there by the San Francisco Peaks area down below. This could be a fun excursion for you and the family. But you can see lots of activities in Flagstaff. I mean, we just showed you probably about half of what you can do in Flagstaff. I mean, we could really go into more detail about Flagstaff in another video, but you guys get an idea about how amazing Flagstaff is, northern Arizona. There's a lot of culture up here, especially with the Native Americans, the Navajo, the Hopi, the Anasazi, and you can learn about all of that as it pertains to modern historical relevance. And on this day, we stayed at the True by Hilton. This is more of an economical brand of the Hilton chain. You could stay at many different hotels. I know when I was a kid, my grandparents used to love to take us to Little America. That was one of their favorite hotels. You can actually stay there for around $120 a night. That's a really good price for that hotel, but True by Hilton, you can see right here, a modern, clean hotel in the city of Flagstaff. Flagstaff does grow. It is growing. You will see construction constantly going on in Flagstaff, just not at the level that you see in Phoenix. I mean, the population here is around 80,000 people. If you include Greater Flagstaff, that's about 150,000. It's slowly but surely growing. Also, Northern Arizona University keeps growing, which adds to the population, although that's a transient population coming and going. But you can see Flagstaff, definitely a very uppity, lively place. I mean, you will see when you arrive. If you like this one, watch our Sedona video next. I'll put a link right here. Click.